Is NASA holding SpaceX back? New reports state the agency has advised SpaceX that with the current speed of development, the Starship is not likely to land on the lunar surface anytime soon. However, it is well known that NASA's own SLS is even further behind in development, while SpaceX has just shocked everyone with a new Starship design. Could it be that NASA is blaming SpaceX to hide its own shortcomings? In a recent update, NASA made a significant change to its plans for exploring the moon. They stated that there won't be a landing of SpaceX's Starship on the lunar surface. This decision has sparked concerns about the future of SpaceX's ambitious space exploration projects. The south pole of the moon presents a breathtaking landscape with towering mountains illuminated by constant sunlight. The lunar dust, as fine as powder, sparkles in the unfiltered light, while deep craters cast in permanent shadow conceal pockets of ice within their grey, rocky depths. This water has remained frozen and undisturbed for as long as 3 billion years. In this tranquil expanse, NASA intends to land a fresh crew of astronauts following in the footsteps of their predecessors. These intrepid explorers will don their spacesuits and embark on lunar walks, their movements buoyant in the moon's low gravity. However, it appears that this lunar stroll won't be occurring anytime soon, and there is a possibility of further delays. During an August 8th briefing held at the Kennedy Space Center, Jim Free, the Associate Administrator of Exploration Systems Development at NASA, mentioned that the Artemis 3 mission still maintains its formal launch date set for December 2025. However, he acknowledged that he was closely monitoring potential factors that could lead to delays and the necessary hardware for the mission. Mr. Free did not delve into specific details regarding the exact triggers that might prompt changes to the Artemis 3 mission timeline. This concern follows their previous expressions of unease in June regarding the delayed introduction of Starship, apprehensions about the operational aspects of the lunar lander, the tanker vehicles required for in-orbit fueling, the successful lunar landing of Starship, and the transfer of cryogenic propellant into orbit. Nonetheless, NASA is well prepared with contingency plans to address every conceivable scenario. In the event of delays with Starship, they have equivalent missions at the ready, serving as potential replacements. However, it seems like SpaceX should not be counted out so fast, and NASA may not need a contingency plan after all. Recently, SpaceX unveiled a portion of the nose cone for the upcoming Starship HLS, Human Landing System prototype, which is set to undergo testing. On August 13th, SpaceX relocated this enigmatic nose cone from the Mid-Bay area. A quick glance at it reveals a prominent feature, a door that stands taller than the average adult. This door appears to be covered with a black nylon fabric and lacks a solid structure, suggesting that SpaceX intends to make frequent use of it. While the door's implications may not be immediately evident, a closer look at the vehicle reveals a telling label enlarged for clarity, boldly stating HLS or Human Landing System. Further examination of the nose cone unveils another captivating aspect. Upon looking downward from the nose cone, a network of pipes and wires connected to a sizable rectangular electronic panel can be noticed, which is believed to be the life support system. The thought that this very nose cone might be a component of the Starship HLS mock-up destined to transport humans back to the moon after a gap of more than 50 years is truly surreal. In reality, this HLS nose cone was manufactured well ahead of its originally intended use for Ship 21, only to find its place with Ship 22. Consequently, it still boasts a thermal shield and cap support. However, the journey of this particular nose cone took an unexpected turn. When Ship 22 was disassembled due to various issues, its nose cone found itself in the Mid-Bay. Nose cone 22 underwent a significant transformation, including internal gutting and a redesign that sets it apart. Unlike the enclosed floors of the other remaining nose cones, the floor panel of nose cone 22 features an open central hole and is completely cut around the outer ring, adhering to the cone's edge. Additionally, the nose cone incorporates an electronic arch and is configured to be stacked onto a single ring, resulting in a shorter length compared to other nose cones. This distinctive design suggests that it lacks a payload bay. These newly discovered details further solidify the notion that the nose cone of Ship 22 is being repurposed as a model for the Starship HLS, specifically for testing the life support system within the crew compartment. Ensuring the flawless and safe operation of the life support system is an absolute necessity for the Starship HLS. This is particularly vital as it will serve as the vehicle for transporting humans to the moon. With continuous enhancements and comprehensive development of the craft, it becomes evident that a paramount focus in the upcoming period is the successful completion of life support system testing within the nose cone of the lunar variant of Starship. Despite SpaceX's extensive experience with life support systems, primarily through their Crew Dragon spacecraft, it's essential to recognize that providing life support for a brief journey within Earth's orbit is markedly different from sustaining human life over the course of several weeks or months in the depths of space. When we consider the basics of a life support system, it encompasses all the essential elements necessary for human existence on Earth. Anything that contributes to the survival and well-being of astronauts while ensuring the safety of their environment can be regarded as a genuine life support system. Among the most fundamental necessities A life support system must provide a breathable air supply, ensuring individuals have access to a suitable gas mixture to breathe while effectively removing carbon dioxide from the air to prevent it from reaching hazardous levels. Maintaining the right temperature and atmospheric pressure is also crucial. In addition to breathable air, astronauts will require access to drinking water and proper facilities for wastewater disposal to sustain themselves during their missions in the challenging environment of space. However, when it comes to extended stays in space where individuals reside for months at a time, a regenerative life support system becomes imperative. This system involves recycling crucial elements such as oxygen and water within a closed-loop framework. Even urine and sweat are reclaimed and transformed back into potable water. Moreover, life support systems tend to be intricate and heavy, which could necessitate operational modifications for the vehicle. Ensuring safety during emergencies is also a pivotal consideration in the design and operation of these systems. The transformation of a cargo spacecraft into a vessel suitable for human habitation involves a multitude of tasks. However, there's no need for undue concern, as the emergence of a mock-up for simulating the HLS suggests that SpaceX has already identified the necessary steps. Elon Musk has also remarked that he doesn't think it's overly challenging compared to the spacecraft itself, adding that integrating the life support systems is a relatively straightforward task. In the upcoming period, more information about Starship HLS is likely to be unveiled, potentially bringing them closer to achieving their ambitious timeline for this lunar exploration endeavor. Reaching the moon is a formidable challenge, but the even greater concern for scientists regarding Starship HLS and its astronauts is their long-term existence on the lunar surface. The extended periods people spend away from Earth expose them to the hazards of deep space radiation and galactic cosmic rays, which are highly energetic particles originating from sources such as the Sun or distant locations outside our galaxy. These particles can penetrate through skin and various materials, causing harm to biological tissues. The protective shield provided by Earth's atmosphere and magnetic field plays a crucial role in mitigating the effects of this radiation. However, once astronauts venture into deep space or land on the moon, that protective barrier is no longer available, leaving them vulnerable to the potentially harmful effects of cosmic radiation. The Apollo astronauts, who spent relatively short periods on the moon, experienced only small increases in radiation exposure. However, living on the moon for extended durations would entail an entirely different level of radiation exposure. There's a heightened concern, especially since the sun can produce significant solar flares that may release a substantial dose of radiation toward the moon. NASA and researchers are keenly aware of the potential risks associated with this increased exposure to radiation. There is a growing suspicion that such heightened exposure could lead to damage to the central nervous system and potentially affect brain function. In reality, some form of radiation shielding will be essential for the protection of astronauts during long-term stays on the lunar surface. Starship's stainless steel exterior alone may not provide sufficient protection over extended periods. Experts have put forward the idea of lining long-term lunar habitats with water or ice to act as a barrier to slow down these high-energy particles. However, it's worth noting that cosmic rays contain elements known as heavy ions, which possess significant penetrating power, potentially even making their way through such shielding. One of the most promising options could involve creating habitats covered with lunar soil. This approach would necessitate significant excavation and the use of construction equipment to establish protective barriers. In this scenario, mining equipment becomes a critical component if a lunar base aims to achieve self-sustainability. Unlike resupply missions to the International Space Station and Earth's orbit, which are relatively accessible, missions to the moon involve transit times of days. Therefore, astronauts at a lunar base will need to rely on the resources available on the moon itself, such as lunar dirt for construction and potentially water and ice for drinking and fuel production. While all the necessary mining equipment could be transported to the moon by Starship, the exact design and functionality of this equipment remain uncertain. This uncertainty arises from the fact that no one has previously operated such equipment on the moon. Here on Earth, establishing a mine can take up to 20 years, and that's in a familiar environment. Setting up a mine on the moon poses even greater challenges, primarily because we have a limited understanding of the lunar resources and absolutely no experience in conducting mining operations in the unique lunar environment. This is just one of many problems that will require a solution before a long-term stay on the moon can be considered. While the Starship is a major part of the puzzle, there are several other riddles NASA needs to solve before the Artemis missions can proceed as scheduled. What do you think? Can NASA and SpaceX work together and get the mission back on track? Please share your thoughts in the comments below.